Hi everyone, hello, welcome to Mumpreneur's Crown and to the live. As you know, I'm kicking off the Meet With series, and I'm really excited to introduce Marcia to you. She is a transformational coach, a transformational workshop coach and speaker. She is also a healthcare professional and very accomplished in the mental health side of things. And I'm going to bring her in. So say hello to Marcia.
Hello everyone. Hello, Catia.
Hi, hello,
Hi.
hello. Hi, Marcia. I'm really, really happy to have you here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And
It's a real pleasure.
you've been with the group for a little bit now, and
Hmm.
you saw the changes from just a group to a network. And this is
Yes,
how I hope that we're growing as a network, that we can help each other.
indeed.
And I'm really excited to have you. So the first
Really.
thing I would love for you to say to everyone is, though I've met you through a 5-day challenge of
Hmm.
Build Your Podcast, which
Yeah.
was really, really fabulous, and I'm really, really grateful to have met you there. But tell everyone who you are and a bit about you.
Okay. Well, I'm Marcia. As Catia's already said, I am a transformational workshop facilitator and coach. I work primarily with women around toxic and narcissistic abuse. So that's really where I come into my forte. I'm also a healthcare professional. I'm a nurse by background, but I also retrained as a physician associate, which is actually a new health profession in the UK. And I work in hepatology at a major hospital in Sheffield. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me. and
And Marcia, you know my story, but for those of you who are watching for the first time, I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I'm a healthcare professional as well. I'm an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, and my journey started with, having been very, very sick, and
Mhm.
having a complete overall of, what I want to achieve. So
Mhm.
what I want us to know, and what I want you to tell us is,
Yeah.
how did you come across your entrepreneurship? What was your trigger? What's
Right.
your story?
My story is, for a long time, I have been outside of my work. I was working a lot with other women, and it just came sort of naturally. And I realized actually that there was a need for women to be able to just be in a space where we could share stories and attempt to kind of heal ourselves. And I knew that I needed to do that in a more structured way. And I think the catalyst for me was myself having been in, or at least escaped from a narcissistic relationship where when I was in it, everything that I tried to do, I was unable to do it, or at least that was how I felt, because everything was, just stay with the day job. You don't need to be running your own business. So the support wasn't there.
Mm.
And I myself had to work through some stuff for myself, feeling maybe not so good enough, and who do I think I am that I might be starting a business. But it was always there in the back of my mind because I knew that I didn't want to continue doing exchanging time for money, really, and I knew that there was a bigger and higher purpose for me that was bigger than my day job. And so that was really, once I'd sort of got out of the relationship, I had time to kind of heal, but also time to kind of look at where my life was going. And I knew that I didn't want to get to the place where I'm really old and then have regrets about not doing the things that was in there, was here. And I wanted it, it was all there, mulling around, but had no expression. So I wanted to be able to do that. So I tentatively started, work on my business. So I actually started by running full transformational workshops or one-day workshops, and the feedback I was getting was really good, and people were wanting to follow up and wanting more, and I needed to formalize that some more. So registered my business, and I decided that a podcast would be something that would be a great way to be able to sort of share my story, but also to have other women, other professionals, and just a community of people that will be able to share stories of what they've been through, but more importantly, how they've moved on, how they've healed and turned their lives around, and just to be the best versions of themselves. So that's where it's all going, really. And then doing the podcast, the 5-day challenge, has been amazing. So hopefully, my launch date for the podcast is June.
Very good, and I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to know, because you're a mum as well, you have a
Yes, I am.
family. How did that play a role in the things? Well, first of all, in the dynamics that you were in, and then moving from that dynamics into, transforming yourself into, trying to get to attain your goals, your newfound purpose.
Right. So the dynamics you mean in terms of being in a toxic relationship? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay. It was very difficult. It was, I have 3 sons. They're grown now. I've got grandchildren, but it was a very, very hard time. One of my sons actually has a mental health issue, and I do believe that a lot of that was partly due to the trauma that that my children witnessed in the home. So I think the dynamic really, especially when my son became ill, how that affected the whole dynamic. I had to get away, which I did, but then it left me and the boys in a really precarious situation because I was doing all that I could without any support from my ex to really support my son. And one of the things that the psychiatrist said actually was that if they get the support early, the long-term prognosis would be
The
better.
best.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So everything was kind of in my head. I need to sort my son out. I need to sort, him out. My other 2 sons didn't quite get it. I mean, it completely changed the dynamic of the family. It was, who is this person? This is not my brother, and there was a lot of resentment because, and my youngest was very vocal about that, that I wasn't there for him. And at the time, now, with the relationships between all of us is much, much better. But at that time, it was very hard. And my youngest was, his thing was, I wasn't there for him. And I believe I was there physically, their basic needs were sorted, but I think I clearly wasn't there emotionally. I
Mhm.
think because all my energies was focused on the son that was not well.
Survival, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Survival is making sure your son is fine and making sure that
absolutely,
the basic needs are met and the
yeah,
whole dynamics and the shift. So
yeah,
yeah, no,
absolutely,
I can
yeah,
understand. And I guess it's now that they see the other side of the
yeah,
coin,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
easier to
yeah,
acknowledge and to say, actually, wait a minute.
yeah,
But no,
yeah,
you've done really, really brilliantly, and
yeah.
also, just on its own, in its own right, being a healthcare professional, it's
Mm.
not easy at the best of times.
No,
So to
no.
have that on top of everything else that you were going through
Hmm.
must have been a huge challenge. So I
It was.
salute you because
Thank you.
you've done really, really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And in terms of the business, once you made your decision that
Hmm.
that's what you wanted to do, what were your biggest challenges?
I think the biggest challenge for me was my mindset. Even though I'd kind of that's what I want to do, it was getting over the fear of actually doing it, getting it set up. I think the biggest challenge as well was did I have the resources that I needed to be able to get this together? And I think, you know, I was going to give up my job and just pour everything into this, and that's where I was going to go with it. I did have a coach at the time, and I was setting up, and she was saying, you know, probably think about it carefully. You know, maybe you
Mm-hmm.
can do it alongside and do it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then build until you're in a position where you're able to, you know, give up the day job. You know, so what I have done is currently, actually, because I'm still, you know, working, I'm actually in the process of taking early retirement, which would free up more time for me to be able to concentrate and really dedicate to, you know, my business, which is my heart. It's my heart-led business, and that's where my heart is. And as much as I, you know, go to work and enjoy that, that's not where my heart is. My heart is in serving, you know, the women that are in my tribe.
Yes,
Yeah,
no, fair enough.
yeah.
And with that, how did you
Mm-hmm.
overcome your biggest challenge, i.e., the mindset? Because obviously you've been through so much
Mm-hmm.
that it's very easy for us to acquire, you know, to fit within a box, to acquire the labels
Mm-hmm.
and just interiorize them. How did you jump out of that box? How did you overcome the
Right.
mindset barrier?
There were several things really. One of the biggest ones for me was actually my faith. Um, my faith helped me tremendously, and I kind of I found myself actually coming back to it because I've been all around the houses with, you know, with my belief systems and tried all other sort of modalities, but ultimately it was coming back to my faith, and that was really grounding for me. And that was kind of the foundation that helped me to then seek out the help that I needed. I knew that I had work to do around self-esteem issues. I knew I had work to do around, you know, the whole feeling not good enough, and actually addressing where those, you know, feelings came from, where those beliefs came from. So it was really about shifting my paradigm, you know, about how I
Mm,
felt about myself,
yeah.
and really having to dig deep and seeking the help that I needed. So there was some investment there, but I knew that I had to do that if I was going to serve, you know, and be the best version of, to show up as the best version of myself, to serve, you know, other women, to be the, you know, to help them be the best versions of themselves. So I had to, guess, lead by example in a way, you know, and that we're all on the same journey to, you know, to some extent, and you know, and I want to walk that walk with you know, with the women that I'm serving, but I did have to understand, and I had that awareness that actually I have work to do, and that needed to be done before I could actually step forward, because I think that would have held back the work that I was wanting to do, and it did to a certain extent. But you know, it's a, you know, it's an ongoing process. I think there's always something that, you know, will pop up out of nowhere, but you know, I'm at
Mm-hmm.
that place where I can work with that now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this is amazing. No, I know that from what I know from of you, that you know you are amazing in what you do, in the way you
Thank
connect with
you.
people. I'm looking forward to the podcast being ready, because you
Yeah.
know I wanna be in there as well.
Yeah.
So yes, and if you had a message to the women in our group, the women, the men, because though it's a mompreneurs, I don't
Yeah.
discriminate. So
Yeah.
if you had a message to the wonderful people in our group, what would that be?
If you have a dream, if you have something that you know, your heart's desire, you know, you owe it to yourself to pursue it. Um, don't sit on it. If you have something that, you know, all of us have a purpose. We have a God-given purpose, that we all have, that we need to bring to the world. and somebody is waiting for you to bring what you have, and it's it's you have to bring that. Somebody's waiting on you, and I think if you're struggling, seek the help to be able to get past those barriers that hold you back, because people are waiting. They're waiting for your message. They're waiting for the gift that only you can bring. Yeah.
Yay! That is absolutely brilliant. And this kicks off our Meet With series amazingly. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't have picked
Oh,
a more wonderful person to start this journey
thank
with.
you, Catia.
And yes, I'm excited about what you're bringing to the table. I'm excited about, the women and the men in the group, and
Mhm.
I hope that we get to interact as a network more together.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah. I'm really
yes,
excited as well for you, because I think this is an amazing network. And yeah, I think there's some good things that are going to come of this, I'm sure. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, Marcia, it's been an absolute pleasure to have
Oh,
you.
thank you.
And
It's been my
yes,
honor. I'm honored to
thank
be
you
here.
very much.
Thank
So,
you.
I am going to just say goodbye to everyone and I'll
Bye.
join you backstage in a bit, all
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So there you have it, everyone. You had the lovely Marcia. I hope this interview inspired you and given you an idea of the skills that she brings to the table. If you need any support in that area, you can reach out to her. And also, think about what skills you want the group to seize, and how we can work together the best way we can so that we can all grow from each other. And having said that, if you want to be the next one on the interviews, actually, I have two more people lined up already. So I have next week, I have Elizabeth, and the week after that, I have Delilah. But send me a message so that we can schedule a meet and we can do this with you. It's been lovely. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Take good care. It's all for me today. Bye.